actions continue down in the winner's circle. Toyota's Christine Dallimore presents the Toyota Tundra Schwinn Tough Team Award to Michael Taylor.
On behalf of Toyota Canada, I'd like to present you with our Toyota Tundra Schwinn. May it be your first and last.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I hope it comes with a truck at the end of the year. I lost one of my mechanics to a watercraft accident earlier in the week, so my one guy, Brian, and my girlfriend were working, and Friday afternoon we had a little bit of a problem with the Superbike motor, and we had to swap engines, and didn't have a lot of time to do it. We've had a lot of problems this weekend, especially being understaffed. And because of that, because my crew's done a great job, I'm going to give a bonus to my mechanic, but I want to give this bicycle to my girlfriend, Angela.
Your next chance to see the Toyota Canada Superbike Championship live and in person will be at our series finale at Shannonville Motorsport Park on September 5th. We look forward to seeing you there. So, on behalf of Colin Fraser, I'm Dave Hatch saying, so long, everybody. Portions of today's broadcast were sponsored by Suzuki, Honda, and Kawasaki.
CTV Sportsnet. Game day, every day.
The quest to be best continues today for the Toronto Rock, their final regular season home game, and a victory essential if Canada's team is to entertain thoughts of another first-place finish in a week's time. The Rock and the Albany Attack are next on Sportsnet. The following is a presentation of Molestar Sports and Entertainment. Defending champions is what they are, and for the last 2 weeks, the Rock have shown what it takes to get it done. 2 weeks ago, a crucial win over Philadelphia, and last week under a crossfire from Pittsburgh. The Rock assembled their most impressive effort of the year, rolling to a 14-10 victory to maintain a share of first place. And while the offense continues to improve, it's defense that's charted a winning course for the Rock. Led by Pat Coyle and Terry Bullen, the Rock were in the faces of the Gate brothers the entire day and held the dynamic duo to just 1 goal in the second half, en route to victory. This afternoon, it's the Attack that come calling from Albany, and yet another crucial first-place battle for the Rock. The winner garners home floor advantage in the hunt for the National Lacrosse League Championship. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, it's the 7-3 Toronto Rock versus the 6-4 Albany Attack. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Gardens. In 4 weeks' time, a National Lacrosse League champion will be crowned, and to it will go the championship trophy. And if defenses win championships, well, today the league's very best. The Rock having given up just 11 goals per game, and the Albany Attack just one back at 12 goals per game. Let's look back to March 11th when these two teams combined for 15 goals and give the victory to Albany 8-7, and the Rock giving up 5 power play goals on that particular night. Meanwhile, a 5-way battle for 4 playoff spots will resume today. Buffalo, Philadelphia, and yet another key match tonight as the Rock look to keep pace as well. And the Toronto Rock looking for their 5th home victory of the season here this afternoon. With more, let's go upstairs to Joe Bowen and Brian Shanahan.
Thank you very much, Paul. Well, there was no question against the Pittsburgh Crossfire. The difference was defense, and certainly the Toronto Rock, which won the championship mainly because of their stinginess and goals against, were very tough physical in that game.
Yeah, Terry Bullen and Pat Coyle especially, Joe, they did a great job handling the Gates last week. The Gates only scored 5 goals, which isn't much for those two guys.
As far as offense is concerned, they're spreading it out a little bit better, and Caleb Toth certainly had a big game. He can stretch things out with his speed.
Yeah, he's a first-round draft choice for these guys. He's done everything they've asked for. He's got 14 goals this year. And what they're really happy about is even when he has a quiet game, he still gets 1 or 2 goals on the game sheet.
So it is an interesting adversity here between these two teams because the Attack are an expansion team, and yet they've got a couple of people, certainly in Josh Sanderson and Ted Dowling, who can really light it up.
Yeah, these are two guys who are really happy playing for Coach Terry Sanderson. Dowling's got 37 goals this year. The most he's had in the past is 24. He's always been a great scorer. And Sanderson, you can see he sat on the bench most of the last 2 years in Rochester. They got him for next to nothing. He's got 30 goals. He's 5th in the league in scoring. He's having a great season.
So it should be an interesting game here as Toronto attempts to get home floor advantage. Let's go downstairs again to Paul.
Well, thank you, Joe. And Les Bartley maintaining a balance of physical attack and staying out of the penalty box essential if you're to beat the Albany Attack this afternoon.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. They have a very potent power play. Last time we played them, they scored 5 of their 8 goals on the power play. So it's an area that we have to pay attention to. And, you know, realistically, though, their attack more comes from the left side than the right.
Now, keeping the open wide open as well means that the wingers are going to have to spread things out. They had a tendency to compact things on you last time in Albany, March 11.
Yeah, you know, I mean, their defense packed it. We have to try and spread them out to give our offense a chance to work.
Thank you, Les. Best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you, Paul.
Les Bartley, head coach of the Toronto Rock, as we get prepared for action today. The Rock go on the attack in an effort to stem the attack. The National Lacrosse League on Sportsnet is coming up. Molson Export Toronto Rock Lacrosse is brought to you by Molson Export Rock This, by Chevy Trucks, by Yamaha, and by Midas.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation. And that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A toque is a hat. A Chesterfield is a coach. And it is pronounced Z, not Z. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation in hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
So what's on for today?
Boss wants you, me, and Charlie to take the new Silverado and move them bales.
Is that Charlie?
Chevy's Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup.
Then we gotta water the herd.
300 horses make it more powerful.
If there's any daylight left, we'll take Norm up to see the ladies.
More powerful than Ford and Dodge. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
Well, guess that's enough for today.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
Back in 1978, the Islanders were just formulating their great dynasty with the Potvins and the Trottiers, and they played the Maple Leafs in the quarterfinals that year, and there was no way Toronto could beat them. But Palmetier was my guy, and they forced the Game 7, but there was a problem because the 7th game was on the same night as my midget hockey banquet. I don't remember if I won a trophy that night, but they had a television at the back of the banquet hall, and I can definitely tell you I remember where I was when Lanny McDonald scored that epic goal in overtime. That was a great night.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, the Grand Old Lady on Carlton Street. And the Toronto Rock announcing this week that they will move next year to the Air Canada Centre. So the days are numbered here at Maple Leaf Gardens. And brought to you by Midas. Here are the keys that Brian Shanahan feels the Rock have to do.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Joe, Ted Dowling, the top goal scorer in the league. They have to be all over him. They got to stay out of the penalty box. They've got a great power play on Albany, and Toronto's got to continue to balance the scoring and loose balls. It's going to be a tight game. As far as Albany's concerned, they've got to be all over Veltman, because Veltman owns the loose balls. They got to try to stop him. They know Veltman well. Their power play's got to continue to play well. They've got to try to keep the Rock on the outside, give them only the outside shot and loose balls. Loose balls are always important when you got two evenly matched teams.
Here are the starting goaltenders in the Twine tents. Rob Blasdell, who was the backup to Bob Watson here a year ago, has been outstanding. He was the player for the month of March. And Bobby Watson has an 11.09 goals against average, which is tops in the National Lacrosse League. The referees today, Paul Ravery of Whitby is the crew chief. Dave Berman of Boston and Bill Fox will work with him, and Grant Spees is in the penalty box area. And we are ready to go.
No trap, no force. You gotta draw, man. Okay? Let's go, down.
Paul Ravery with the instructions to the two face-off men, and we're underway. And the Rock knock it down, and it's kicked deep into the Albany zone. Rory Graham goes in there after it. They battle and scrum in the wall, and it's cleared off to Blasdell. Now on the far side, Gary Gibson bringing it up. Gibson working into the Toronto zone is stood up. Ball on the carpet. Bullen knocked it free. Then Coyle takes his man, and we've already got a couple of injuries here. Is getting up rather slowly is Josh Sanderson, and he's limping right to the dressing room, and that is a huge injury if that is anything serious as far as the Albany Attack are concerned.
That's an absolute huge blow to Albany. Looks like he just twisted his ankle, Joe. Hopefully he's just going to go ice it, but that's serious. That really hurts their chances.
Yeah, he did not go to the bench, went right to the room, and Veltman now telling his mates to slow it down a bit. Steve Toll looks inside. Colin Doyle takes it around back of the goal. Doyle looking to pass in front, trying to find Chris Langdale, but that was wide, and out comes Albany. Gibson with it again. Bringing it in, he's a Toronto native. In fact, there'll be no surprises here. Most of the team, Albany scoring on the first shot on goal, and it's 1-0 for the Attack. That was Troy Cordingley of Brampton, the 7-year veteran.
Beautiful play by Troy Cordingley, who knows how to score goals. Dowling, he gets the pick, nice pick and roll. Cordingley goes to the net. He's on his wrong side, puts it in. Troy has got a fantastic inside game, and it doesn't matter if he's on his wrong side. You get him in close. Those are the guys Toronto really has to watch. Cordingley, Kilgour, Dowling, Josh Sanderson.
17th of the year for Cordingley. But as I was saying, the majority of the players, in fact all but one, are from Ontario on the Albany Attack squad. So they know each other quite well.
We've often talked about when Toronto plays a team like Buffalo, Rochester, how it's a Canadian game. And Albany fits in the same category there. We've got Terry Sanderson and Bob McMahon, Canadian coaches from up Orangeville. They've filled their team with Ontario players.
Phil Sanderson, who's the nephew of the coach, brings the ball up. Now here's a chance for Rosyski, trying to get inside with a shot that went wide. Rebound gobbled up by Matt Giles, who was on the practice roster of the Toronto Rock until a couple of weeks ago. Ball in the goal crease area, handled by Watson, and the long outlet pass for Dan Stroop. Stroop taking it to the net, and that was turned aside by Rob Blasdell. Turned over again, and here are the Albany Attack, bringing it out with Cam Wood. Dowling and Gibson assist on the first goal at 1:04, and it is 1-0. The Attack setting things up, working out the front door. On the far side now, Fannell drops it back into the slot for Rosyski, and it's turned over, and an official's call here, and it will be Toronto Rock ball. Tonight's first period brought to you by AOL Canada. New pricing, unlimited use. Stay on as long as you want. Chance inside there by Colin Doyle that was stopped. And there is a penalty coming here to the Albany Attack, as Kim Squire is still not up onto his feet. Now he is, and apparently is all right. But going to the penalty box is Phil Sanderson, and this will be the first power play for either team.
Both these here, you're going to see he just gets pushed from behind. Doesn't look like too much there, but he got the call for hitting from behind. Albany's got a dangerous short man, as does Toronto. They've got the top short man in the league. Toronto's right behind them, but they scored a lot of shorthanded goals, second in the league.
Caleb Toth with a good shot that rang off the post, and now it's brought out by John Rosa. Rosa is the Toronto boy as well. He dishes off to Ted Dowling. Dowling working against Pat Coyle, and the 30-second clock with 15 seconds remaining in it. 1:27 to go on the power play. Chance inside and a shot that Watson got a piece of. But the Albany Attack have had the better scoring chances early on and lead 1-0. Rory Graham heading to the bench.
Ted Dowling will be coming off the bench every time Albany gets the ball.
Kim Squire setting things up for Doyle. Now to Toth, back to Doyle. He fakes the shot. Squire doesn't send it in. Now a chance in on goal. Roll wide of the goalpost, and it is smothered by Blasdell. Blazer bringing it out. Make sure it was in his stick the way he wanted before throwing it down the floor, and on the carpet it's scooped up here by Colin Doyle. Doyle waits for things to clear and now brings the power play, which has 38 seconds left in it, up the floor. 22-year-old Kitchener native Colin Doyle to Toth. Doyle and Toth playing catch with Squire. Doyle at the high slot with the shot, and Blasdell got a shoulder in front of that. Toth with the rebound, but has it knocked off his stick. Now gets it free. Doyle on the far side, and the ringing shot by Chris Gill went wide. 20 seconds left in the shot clock as it wasn't on goal. There's a shot on goal, and Blasdell went low to make the save, and a good one against Squire. Albany with just 2 seconds to kill off, and out of the box now comes Phil Sanderson. 1-0 for the Albany Attack, and a log jam atop the standings of the National Lacrosse League. If Albany wins and Philadelphia wins, there would be 5 teams at 7-4 with a week to go in the schedule. So this is a huge game for the Albany Attack, not to mention the Toronto Rock.
And that's something Toronto doesn't want to get into all these tiebreakers either.
Langdale with a shot that was deflected wide on the near side, controlled now by Steve Toll. Squire one-handed it wide of the net. Trying to keep it over the timeline now is Langdale, but time will run out anyway. And the ball turned over to Albany as they lead by a 1-0 count. And we'll take a break here at Maple Leaf Gardens. National Lacrosse League action.
What? Nobody shaves during the playoffs.
It's a Canadian game.
If you're looking for horsepower, look at Chevy Silverado. Because Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any 4x4 pickup. More powerful than Dodge. More powerful than Ford. 300 horsepower. That's why it's the truck. Silverado from Chevy.
If you think all ATVs are created equal, you've never ridden a Yamaha. The new Kodiak 400 Automatic and Big Bear 400 from Yamaha. Because out here, bears rule.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens here in Toronto. And Molson Export Rock Lacrosse is brought to you in part by Molson Export. Rock this. And by Midas. Car care you can count on. Head coach Terry Sanderson.
Terry's
still no word yet on Josh Sanderson.
No, hopefully he'll be back soon. Terry's head coach, Josh's dad. He's quite a legend in lacrosse circles of Morrinsville.
Ball turned over. This is Steve Toll, and he's got the foot speed. Dishes off to Bullen, looking for his first, and he does! Terry Bullen has his first of the year!
Well, we don't see Terry Bullen in that end of the floor too often, but he looked pretty calm and knew what to do when he got the ball there. Beautiful pass. There you're going to see it's a backhand pass. I think he realized he wasn't going anywhere. Steve Toll, nice backhand pass. Terry Bullen very calmly puts it in the short side. Smart play by Steve Toll. He knew his didn't have much of a shot at cutting to the net there. Beautiful pass.
And after the way he was the player of the game last week with his defensive efforts, that was deserved. He may have needed a map to find his way down there, but he certainly looked like he was no stranger to shooting the ball at the net.
And he's a defensive player now, but believe it or not, when Terry was young, he was a great scorer. Broke records, I think, in junior B.
Well, he showed that he had some experience at that as he threw it over the shoulder of Rob Blasdell, and we've got the Rock's first penalty as Paul Ravery has sent number 32, Jim Beltman, to the penalty box.
We're going to see Jimmy Veltman comes around here. Oh, I missed it there. High sticking, he called it the high sticking.
Now, a shot blocked by Watson. This is Rosyski dishing it off up top, and a long shot scores as Darris Kilgour, one of the greats in the history of this league. Niagara Falls, New York native, an 8-year veteran and a 3-time All-Pro, Darris Kilgour makes it 2-1 Albany.
We've talked about Darris many times. He played for Buffalo, then he got traded to Rochester, met Toronto in the playoffs, and this is his main value at this stage in his career is he is a great power play specialist. He's got a great outside shot. He doesn't have the legs he once had. He is a great leader, a great competitor, just what he does in the power play.
Well, last year, while with Buffalo, he scored 2 similar goals like that against the Rock.
And I'll tell you one thing, Bob Watson just doesn't like him shooting.
285 career penalty minutes for Darris Kilgour. He's no stranger to that part of the game either.
And that just shows his competitiveness. He's a career leader in penalty minutes, but he's also up there in goals and points.
Now Veltman has the loose ball. Jim Veltman over 1,000 loose balls in his pro career. Dean Harrison throws it to the far side for Stroop. Now Gill helps out. Harrison into the attack as well as Gill works coming out of the corner. Gill with the ball, drops it off to Squire. Shot scores! Roddy Squire, the third-year veteran, makes it 2-2.
Oh, we talked about Toronto needing balance scoring. Well, it's definitely a bonus. And the first 2 goals by Toronto were scored by 2 of their better defensive players, Terry Bullen and Rod Squires. And Roddy's mostly noted for his loose balls, but Toronto's wanting them to get more into the offense this year. Nice bounce shot right between Blazers' legs.
And so Rod Squire and Terry Bullen have their first goals of the season in order to tie the game at 2. As Darris Kilgour notched his 12th of the year to give the Attack the second lead they enjoyed in the game. And the scrum against the far wall will be turned over, and Toronto will get the turnover. And let's go downstairs to Paul Hendrick for an update.
Well, Joe, Josh Sanderson may or may not be coming back into this game. The previous collision, he has been diagnosed with a sprained knee. They are trying him out with a knee brace to show you the importance of this afternoon's game. He may be back in the second half. Back upstairs to you.
Well, it looked like it might be an ankle, but in fact it was a twisted knee, and so that is not good news for the Albany Attack. As Josh Sanderson, as we get a look at that injury again, here it is here as he got spun around.
It almost looks like he twisted it before he got to Terry Bullen there.
Sanderson with 30 goals and 64 points to lead the Albany Attack scoring. So that is a big hole to have to fill, leaving early in this first quarter.
Albany really relies on him. They rely on 4 or 5 guys that play a lot of offense.
Squire trying to take the pick and roll and got his shot away, then took a swipe at the loose ball in the goal crease. A long lead pass, and out of the door comes Ted Dowling. Chance inside, stopped by Watson, and he gets run over as Ladouceur crumples his man, Troy Cordingley, and it is Ladouceur who's getting the penalty.
And there you see, it's always dangerous when you get Dowling in there. Actually, everyone's always expecting him to shoot. I was surprised he passed on that play. But they're going to the power play again. The last game, Toronto played Albany in Albany. Toronto, or the Albany power play went 5 for 6. This is key for Toronto to do a better job against them.
8:04 the time of the penalty. Darris Kilgour scored on a power play the last time. And the loose ball is gobbled up by Veltman. Veltman quickly up the floor, trying to make sure that he doesn't get checked from behind. Dishes to Coyle. Coyle with a shot, and that went wide. Rebound, Veltman tries to get to, but he cannot. And Steve Fannell will bring it out. Now here is Blasdell playing it ahead. And Troy Cordingley comes away with it. Cordingley acquired from Buffalo in the expansion draft. Gary Rosyski, he has trouble with the ball on the carpet, and it will roll towards the timeline, but not over. 7 seconds left on the shot clock, however. Cordingley up high. Will let it go. Watson went low to make the save. Ball on the carpet, and Watson has it in the crease. Bobby Watson, machine operator from Guelph. A long lead pass for Colin Doyle. Doyle dishing it off with 50 seconds left in the power play. This is Dan Stroop. Part of the air-waters combination that arrives from British Columbia every week. Here's Caleb Toth. Pass in for Doyle. That's on the carpet. Now it is knocked down again, and a whistle here by the official, which will turn the ball over to the Albany Attack.
Just a possession call on that. I thought he was going to call Toronto for another penalty for a second there, but he was just calling possession.
And the Albany Attack have called a timeout. Tonight's Rock broadcast is brought to you in part by Chevy Trucks. Like a rock. And just what we were talking about, these gentlemen board an airplane every weekend and head to Toronto, and then either play here or jump on a bus and head to other points.
Yeah, and as we see Russ Hurd up here, Russ Hurd has been placed on the practice roster, but he wasn't scoring the way they were hoping to this year. Here you see Terry Sanderson is one of the best competitors. We talk about Darris Kilgour. Well, Terry Sanderson, I played with him, against him, and was coached. Played against him when he's coaching, and he is one of the toughest guys you'll ever meet. He'll never give you an inch. I'll have a few more stories on him later.
He's a very vocal individual back there, isn't he?
Oh, he's very vocal, and he'll be giving it to every guy in the Toronto Rock.
He looks like he's played his share of lacrosse.
Pass
too far there for Rosyski. Is turned over, and Glenn Clark brings it away for Toronto. Up the middle. Veltman trying to slow things down here with 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, tied 2-2. Steve Toll, as Ladouceur's out of the box, the penalty is over. Kim Squire with the ball, number 93. Winds up a long shot, and Blasdell got a piece of that, and it ricochets over the glass and into the crowd here at Maple Leaf Gardens. There's a break on the floor with 4:45 left first quarter. Toronto 2, Albany 2.
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
Yamaha YZF-R series. No compromise.
Taxi! Taxi! 59th Street video, please? Oh, you gotta get the episode 1 video. Wait till you see the pod racing scene. Young Skywalker's racing for freedom. This is where the video kicks butt. He goes into overdrive. He never stops for anything. Never stops for... Well, you gotta see it for yourselves. From the big screen to your screen, buy the Star Wars Episode 1 video, some Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, Dew or 7-Up, and get $3 back. Oh, joy!
Life has its bumps, but you don't have to feel them. Now Midas Gold struts with R2 technology are only $79.95 each, with a lifetime guarantee at any Midas. Go smoothly. Go Midas.
Toronto Rock assistant coach Ed Como, the mission statement on the bench here is to spread them out.
Yeah, we're really trying to spread them out. They're a good sliding team, so we think if we can create some space, we can get some opportunities.
And open things up. Also from the Albany bench, gentlemen, Josh Sanderson officially out for the game. This has been a Molson Export Bench Report.
Thanks very much, Paul. Notice you chose the Toronto Rock assistant coach instead of Bob McMahon, the assistant coach with the Albany Attack. Back in their high school days, apparently Mr. McMahon took apart Mr. Hendrick in the wrestling ring. As they have some history there with athletic competition, but the Attack have taken a 3-2 lead.
Teddy Dowling, this is the guy they have to shut down, the top scorer in the league. Watch, he just goes down low. You can see Dowling actually beats Terry. You don't see that happen too often, but he beats Terry one-on-one. Teddy Dowling's got one of the fastest first steps I've ever seen. He's very quick on his feet. He's having a career season, 38 goals. He leads the league. He's got 8 power play goals, 6 shorthanded goals, so he's dangerous all over. 5-on-5 shorthanded power play. Likes to shoot.
So for the 3rd straight time, the Albany Attack own the lead. 3-2. Errant pass, gobbled up by Beltman, but he couldn't control it. And now stepping around one was Gary Gibson, and Albany has possession. John Rosa bringing it out. As Paul told us in that report, Josh Sanderson is officially done for the day. So Albany leading 3-2 without their leading point getter, as Bob Watson doesn't know where that is. It's caught up in his shin pads. And now here's Clark bringing the ball up the floor for Toronto. Right it ahead for Rod Squire.
I really miss Josh Sanderson, but Coach Terry Sanderson will not let anybody dwell on that. He won't let them use any excuses.
Dean Harrison now to Squire. Rod Squire outside Harrison. Long shot, scores! And that's got to feel awfully good for Dean Harrison, who's gone through a tough couple of weeks here on the tragic death of his mother in a car accident. And Dean Harrison gets high fives all through the Toronto bench as he gives the Rock a tie at 3.
Yeah, that was a beautiful goal by Dean, and the guys are real happy for him. Hasn't played much this year, and beautiful screen. And you know, the coaches have told me he's been lighting it up in the practices, and they were ready to put him in the lineup about a month ago until the tragedy. His mother died in a car accident about a month ago. The guys are glad to have him back. And everyone on the bench very happy for him.
Squire and Toth threw assists on the goal, and it is a 3-3 tie. And Dean Harrison has his first of the year. So 3 separate players on the Rock team who aren't expected to score have.
You're right, but I think, you know, doesn't surprise me, Dean. He's had some big games in the past. He scored 7 goals in one game playing for Coach Terry Sanderson this summer. So Dean can pop him in. A bit of confidence, I think, with him.
The Beisel, number 17, clipping it out into the slot, but it's quickly gobbled up there by Steve Toll. Toll running the gauntlet here, trying to get it up the floor, and he does. Doyle just got his head up in time to see Darren Much arriving on the scene. Here's Toth into the corner for Toll. Toll across the floor, looking for Kim Squire. Squire now with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Colin Doyle takes the shot. That was stopped by Blasdell, and he's able to control the rebound. Bob Blasdell with a long outlet pass and a good one. It's a breakaway. Here's Rosyski scoring, and for the 4th time, the Albany Attack have gained the lead. Nice pass from Blasdell.
Nice pass, and Albany, that started in their own end. Albany did a good job on defense there. But watch this pass by Blasdell. And a nice catch by Rosyski. Plays for Brooklyn in the summer. Beautiful goal.
13-13, the time of the goal by Rosyski. And it is a 4-3 Albany lead, and Rosyski has his 16th of the year. Woods bringing it back now for Albany with a shot that went wide. Bounds up on the near boards. That got by one, and here's Rory Graham in a foot race. Can't get around the defense. Graham decides to hold it up. Now looks into the slot, still has the ball. Graham outside. Change is coming here. Thought he could press the attack, but when he couldn't get around John Rosa, he decided to hold it up. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Long shot. Laser has it underneath him. And it is pinned there as Blasdell makes a good save. Gary Gibson starting back for Albany. Got it ahead, and this is John Rosa. He's 3rd in loose balls in the National Lacrosse League is John Rosa with 101, which is a distant 3rd. 140 for Jim Veltman coming into the game today. Pat Coyle turns the ball over. Dan Stroop, and a whistle here with some collision in back, and subsequently with some interference there by Caleb Toth, the ball is turned over. Tonight's first period was brought to you by AOL Canada. New pricing, unlimited use. Stay on as long as you want. 4-3 Albany in the final half minute of the first quarter. Errant pass, and now on the floor, Troy Cordingley trying to outwork Graham, but the ball is whistled dead, and it is turned over to Toronto. Steve Toll bringing it up. Blasdell with that assist, his 12th of the year. He leads all goaltenders in assists this season as a hit there, and then Langdale fires his man as Colin Doyle got knocked down, and we get some shoving in front of the net. Kim Squire, now Much has taken off the face mask and wants a piece of Kim Squire. And Bob Watson comes down here, as well as Squire, and now Squire and Much are going at it. Darren Much is a rookie from St. Catharines, and Kim Squire, one of the younger players in the league, so these are two young horses going at one another right there. Darren Much and Kim Squire will go to the box.
Kim Squire did really well for what I thought was going to be a mismatch. Darren Much is 195 pounds. 5'11". Kim Squires is about 5'8", 160. And Kim Squires is a goal scorer. Coaching staff doesn't want to see him fighting, but he is feisty. Can't hold him back sometimes.
Langdale's also gone to the box for Toronto, and let's see how referee Paul Rabery is going to assess this. Much will be assessed our major penalty for fighting. Here's a look at how it started.
Much has been after Squires all game. He's obviously been trying to get under his skin. there you see a bit of, Kim Squires doesn't want to fight at first, but he did all right once it started.
Rob Blasdell came in to not try to knock the stick out of the hand of Squire, and then this started things against the inboards. So the intensity and the importance of this game spilling over here with 2.7 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
As well as Squires did in that fight, when you're in the coaching staff at Toronto, you hate to see something like that happen where one of your top goal scorers is out with a defensive player. I know I was a defensive player myself, and it's great if you're a defensive player and you can take off one of the top scorers with you. And the last thing another coach wants is to see one of their top scorers go off with a guy like that who's a defensive tough guy.
Now Colin Doyle is also in the penalty box as we take a look at Kim Squire coming back after that broken leg.
And he's not even near 100%. He's got 8 goals in the 2 games. But that's part of Kim's game. Kim is tough.
Well, and Kim Squire getting cleaned up a little bit after that spirited bout with Darren Much of the Albany Attack. Bob Watson went the length of the floor to make sure that his teammates weren't outnumbered because Blasdell was involved in.
Exactly, he was just making sure Blasdell didn't get involved in there.
Terry Sanderson looking on, waiting for the officials to come up with.
But that's almost the equivalent of Terry Bullen starting a fight with Ted Dowling or Troy Cordingley, and I'm sure the Albany team wouldn't like to see that happen.
Well, right now there are 3 Toronto Rock players in the penalty box and no one in the box for Albany.
Well, Darren Much has gone straight to the dressing room to get some repairs done, I think. But there's got to be somebody in there besides him.
Okay, not Doyle. Doyle's in with this guy here. Okay, he's got the high stick. 10 White comes in. Okay, he's got it for charge. Okay, these 2 guys got 5 each for fighting. Okay, okay. Toronto goalie up over half, 2 minutes. Okay, we got offsetting.
He didn't get involved in it.
No, he didn't get, but he left his crease. Okay, so everything canceled. We play 5-on-5. Okay, now who gets the ball, man? Who had the blue had the ball at the stoppage of the whistle. Okay.
2 seconds.
That's right. 2 seconds left. Ball in the crease. Blue ball. I want 5-on-5. Just hold it 1 second. Okay, 10. I want your 10. I want your 10, Steve. Yeah. Okay, that's what where is he? Why is he in the dressing room? 15. I want 10. Yeah, 5-on-5, man. 5-on-5. The 2 guys behind the net, the 2 guys behind the net got a high stick and a slash.
Yes.
Okay. Your 10 comes in on the charge.
Yes.
Okay. Your 10 comes in on the charge. Okay. The 2 guys squared up, fought behind.
Let's look at the face up, Owen. Let's get the possession. We'll kill a quarter. We'll clean it out. Okay, let's go. Okay.
Now there's some sound advice. Let's kill off the 2.7 seconds and we'll figure it out later. Good idea, boys. They're going to play 5-on-5. Chris Langdale gets a charging penalty, but it's all going to wash out. Even Bob Watson leaving his crease to come down into the fray is going to be penalized as well. There's not much reason to be sorting it all out here now. 2.7 seconds left in the quarter.
Exactly. You heard Bill Fox say, let's sort it out, finish the period.
And in case you just joined us, there has been some scoring. Albany leads 4-3. As we take a look at Rob Blasdell. And this afternoon's Rock broadcast is brought to you in part by Yamaha, exceeding expectations. And by Midas, car care the way it should be. Much has gone to the dressing room for repairs. Langdale is in the box. Colin Doyle is in the box for roughing behind the... Let's listen in again.
Hold on. Hey, hold on. The goalie did come over, Bill. That's going to offset. That's going to offset. That's going to offset. Okay, white goalie, 2 minutes for leaving this crease. Okay. Okay, so 2 minutes goes on the clock.
It's all a wash, 5-5 after.
No.
So apparently it's not going to be a wash because goaltender Watson came out. There will be a power play for Albany.
No, he's done it a penalty. He got 4 minutes for slap. That's right.
Chris Gill still trying to sort it out.
Let's square it up with him. He's got 2. Okay, he's got 2. He's got 2 for coming in on the charge. Okay. The other 2 guys got 5 each for fighting. Your goalie came all the way down. He's the offsetting one. Okay. Up, let's go.
It's still a stupid rule, Joe. He had to come all the way down because it wasn't in front of his crease. You know what he's supposed to do?
Well,
he didn't get in a fight.
No,
I guess it's a rule, but it's
I guess
stupid.
it is, but it because Blasdell was
happens to be in his own crease.
In the action, yep. Well, so much for all of that. We've had a little bit of everything here in the first quarter. The score at the end of the first quarter, the Albany Attack 4, the Toronto Rock 3.
Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports. Are we into sports or what? Toronto Sun Sports.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation. And that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A toque is a hat. A Chesterfield is a coach. And it is pronounced said, not Z. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
Taxi! Taxi! 59th Street video lease?
Oh, you gotta get the episode 1 video. Wait till you see the pod racing scene. Young Skywalkers racing for freedom. This is where the video kicks butt. He goes into overdrive. He never stops for anything. Never stops for... Well, you gotta see it for yourselves. From the big screen to your screen, buy the Star Wars Episode 1 video, some Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, do or 7-Up, and get $3 back. Oh, joy!
I had 2 heroes growing up. Daryl Sittler was one, and Gilles Villeneuve was the other. Villeneuve was an absolute magician behind the wheel. I absolutely revered him. I had posters of him all over my wall. So you can imagine how devastated I was on May 8th, 1982. The date is indelibly etched in my mind. When he was killed qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix. When you're 14 and your hero dies, it's quite something.
We are back here at Maple Leaf Gardens where the Albany Attack lead 4-3, and during the break, our referee Paul Ravery was busy explaining to the various coaches, and Terry Sanderson getting the explanation now.
And Terry will talk to the referees, make sure he tries to get the edge. If he can, he'll intimidate them. And Albany did get the upper hand on that one. They get a power play out of all of this.
It'll be the third of the game for them. And they have a 1 power play goal in the first quarter. And we're ready to go to start the second quarter. A 1-goal game. Blasdell had miss in the first period. Brought up the floor now by Albany and Steve Fannell. He was born in Wolverhampton, England. Played at Niagara College. And the Attack organizing the power play with Cordingley, edging in, behind the back pass, gets it returned. Then took the shot, and Watson went low to stop that. Watson with a long outlet pass for Beltman. Beltman now with a chance to take it to the net, passes instead of shooting, and it's intercepted nicely by Cam Wood. Woods getting it ahead for Fannell. Steve Fannell works the left wing side and pulls up. Beltman checking him with 1:08 to go on the power play. Darris Kilgour organizing the man advantage. Kilgour off to Cordingley, inside, and a shot over the shoulder, scores! A nice feed inside from Cordingley, and Dallas Squire, who is a cousin of Kim and Rod Squire, opens the first 2-goal lead of the game. It's 5-3.
Dallas Squire, like his cousin Kim, has great scoring touch. He's always scored a lot of goals, played with him in Six Nations. You see him there, he's got the finish around the net. And a nice feed by Troy Cordingley.
Right over the shoulder, and so as was the situation in Albany, the power play of the Attack has been very good thus far. They have scored 2 of the 3 opportunities they've had.
Toronto's got to try to stay out of the penalty box against these guys. They could be very efficient. They've got 5 veterans on the power play.
Accordingly, with a shot, ball on the carpet, kicked towards the net and scooped up by Watson. This is Pat Coyle getting it ahead. A long pass for Stroop too far. Stroop diving, but was knocked down from behind, and the ball is awarded to the Toronto Rock. Chris Gill went through the goal crease there and took a little shot at Blasdell. Toll with a shot, Blasdell with the save. Steve Toll corrals his own rebound. Now to Gill. Gill trying to muscle his way inside, was too well covered, and the ball popped loose. Toronto was hollering for a holding penalty and didn't get it. Now here's a chance for Woods, and a save made by Watson. Quickly outlet, and Steve Toll will wait for offensive support coming out the front door. Toll going to work the hidden ball trick. It didn't work. Here's Dean Harrison winding and shooting, and his drive was wide of the net. The rebound is loose in the goal crease area and scooped up there by Bob Blasdell. Rob Blasdell has been very good here. The shots on goal favor Albany 16-15, but it's 5-2 Attack over the Rock. Rosyski taking it back outside for Cordingley. Cordingley looking for Squire, now gets an avenue. Squire to the net, a shot stopped by Bob Watson. And now another whistle on a play behind the action as Graham took his man down, Squire, and so it's a loose ball and it's turned over to Albany. Long shot over top of the net, ends up on the mesh. Watson outlets quickly, and it's Pat Coyle bringing the ball up the floor. Watson is heading to the bench. Coyle to the far side. A penalty
by Watson earlier on, Joe.
Yep. Penalty coming here to Albany. Harrison mishandles the ball, and as it's touched by the Attack, here's the penalty call from the officials.
Too many men, Albany.
Too many men on the floor.
Toronto gets a little break here.